We are now live, and this is a good start.
Hello, and welcome to Techspert Talks, the Hyperloop riding, SpaceX flying, guides to all things tech.
Hello, and welcome to a special episode of Techspert Talks. As you can see, we're all live in the same location today because we're having an experience of what HTC have got to offer. So there's just the three of us, so no Jules this week. But we have got Steve from HTC. If you want to shout us hello, Steve.
Hello.
And basically, we're in HTC, so we're seeing what's going on down there, and we're going to go through a few things that we've seen today. So as usual, we've got James. If James was a phone, he'd be a 6210 because he's long and thin, and he's our resident giant. And if he was a dessert, he'd be an ice cream. He's the queen of screen. He is Mitchell.
Hello.
And you wanted to do my introduction, did you not?
Yes, I did. So the self-proclaimed, too sexy for clothes, is Kurt.
So let's move on. So we've been looking at a few things today, and we want to just go through it. So in a section we like to call
The news, our latest roundup of what's out there on the net.
So we've had the pleasure of seeing a brand new phone today, which is the HTC U11. So those with video, here's a couple of beautiful models. If not, there'll be pictures and videos posted to the site at some point today or tomorrow. So James,
Yes.
do you want to tell us a little bit about the phone?
So, the phone itself is a 5.5-inch display on it, which, from what we've seen so far, you probably agree, it is rather beautiful.
It is a very nice screen.
Yeah,
very
very
beautiful.
bright, very colourful. Using Super LCD 5 now? Yeah, cool. You've got a Snapdragon 835 processor. That is the newest one, running at an octa-core 2.45 gigahertz, if I remember right. Steve just confirmed that. But I am definite. There's that. It has 4 gig of RAM, which is pretty nifty for what it needs to do. You've got your Edge Sense, which we're going to go through in a bit. And it has a 12 megapixel ultra pixel quad camera on the back, which is now rated the best on the market by DxO.
So for those who don't know, DxO are a website, and their job is purely to review cameras for everything. So cameras on phones, cameras on video recording devices. If it's got a camera, these are going to rate it. It could even be a laptop. They'll rate that camera. They'll rate every camera you can find. And they have said, out of every phone in the world, this is the best camera. Later on, we're going to post up some pictures that we've took. We've took them with the S8, and we've took them with the HTC U11. And you're going to be able to tell for yourself which one you think is better. I know what I think, but I want you to make your own decisions because this is where it really comes through. The next thing they've changed is the design. So Mitchell's going to talk us through the design of this phone. Mitchell?
But the first thing I want to say is how nice it feels in your hand. Shiny, feeling really good. But there is something in it that I want to talk about, which I can't find. It's the liquid
surface.
Liquid surface. Yep. That's the one. Couldn't find that word. This is the ocean blue.
Brilliant blue.
Brilliant blue. And it feels and looks really good. It feels really good in your hand compared to something like the S8. There's nothing there. There's no bezel on it. Whereas the S8 has a very little bit, this doesn't. It just feels genuinely really nice to hold and to play with.
Yeah, it's very pretty, I'd say.
Yeah, very.
Nice curve just to the back of the hand. So
Yeah.
just to fit.
Fits in your hand perfectly. And it just looks 100%.
The camera bumps is gone as well, which I think is very, very good to have. Not wobbling around on the table or anything like that.
Nice and flat, straight away.
Yeah, it's also very light as well.
Yeah.
Do you see it really light? You look at it and you think it's going to be a lot heavier than it actually is. But it is really light, really smooth.
It's surprisingly light, yeah.
And it feels perfect in the hand. It feels nice in the hand. It's not too big for your hand. It's not too small. I've got quite chubby hands. And it fits perfectly. It's nice. It feels really good. It feels really easy to use. You can get to each part of the screen really easily. Yeah. But it's also got a really good trick up its sleeve.
Yes.
So this is the first phone with a squeezable screen. It's squeezable. It wants you to caress it. So when you load up the phone, it's going to default to a couple of things. So at the moment, it defaults into camera. So if I give that a squeeze, it will take me into my camera. If I give it a long squeeze, it will take me and take a photo. So I can do that for selfies. I can do that with but that's not all. you're going to say to me, so what? I don't use the camera. But with this, you can customize it. So it's context sensitive. So you might be in WhatsApp or you might be in a text message and you're going to squeeze it. And it's going to jump into voice typing. So you can then go along and you can do your voice typing on the go. So imagine this in your daily life. There's got to be apps, things that you use regularly every day. And maybe it only takes 10 seconds to get there. But now, even from your lock screen, give it a squeeze, straight into your music player, straight into your video recording. You're going to be there quicker. It's going to make it loads easier. And it's innovative. So we all complain how much phones are the same now and how they don't try anything new. Well, HTC have took this and they're trying something new. And I really do think they should be applauded for that. So if you get a chance, pop into stores. They're coming out as we go now, and give it a squeeze. You'll find that it's very innovative, and anybody can pick it up and use it. Everybody knows how to squeeze something, and immediately you're going to be able to use it and use that feature well, and it's really going to help you. Steve, anything else you want to add about this phone?
Only that you've really nailed it there in terms of the innovation piece. The whole point of the squeezable sides was, if you look back through technology and years gone by, the major landmarks have been changes in interaction of technology. So if you think about the mouse on computers and then touchscreen with iPhone and early Android phones, they sort of were game changers. I'm not saying that Squeeze is going to be the game changer, but it's certainly a step into something different and getting us to think about things differently.
It's nice to see something new.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of natural as well.
Yeah.
It's one of those that we played with it a little bit here, and it does feel as though it's just going to come naturally to you.
Yeah, it gives you that nice little bit of haptic feedback as well. It gives you a little bit of a vibration, just so you know, yep, I've done it right, it's working, and then away it goes. Very responsive, very quick. It's been implemented seamlessly, I think.
Yeah, it does work very well.
Okay, so we also got an opportunity today to play with a Vive.
You can see his face, he loved it.
So as anybody who listens to the podcast regularly knows, Mitchell is a bit scared of everything. His own shadow, cats, dogs, everything. Scared. Being touched on the leg, as many of you will see in a video that we're going to upload later. So Mitchell, you had a chance to play with the Vive, and at the moment you're a big Rift fan.
Yep.
So do you want to go through the differences? Explain to me what's better, what's worse?
So the main differences with it, you have your 2 room scale sensors, and it does work really well. We got to walk around the room, explore a little bit. The Rift is limited with that. Whilst it can do room scale, but you need to buy multiple sensors to do that, it's not as seamless. Whereas I found playing with the Vive earlier, it worked perfectly. You put the headset on, you're there, you're in the middle of it, you look around, you interact. Part of the demo that we played was Rick and Morty, and it worked really well when we figured it out.
Slight tutorial, didn't you?
The tutorial was rubbish. Didn't tell you what to do. It just went, answer the phone. There was no phone. But the main difference with the room scale is it works. You have your 2 sensors set up diagonally from each other, and they pick up a square X by X by X, and that gives you what you need to do.
How big a room do you need?
Depends on the game.
Okay.
From my experience with the Rift, I've got my sensors set up 6 foot apart, facing each other. I need a 3rd one for full room scale. I'm not going to drop another £80 on the Rift when I've spent enough already. But that being said, I prefer the controllers of the Rift than the Vive. The Vive ones they don't feel natural to me. They're not something that you pick up and think, you've just got a plastic controller in your hand. The Rift ones just feel a slightly bit better. But that, again, it's down to my own opinion based on what I've got, what I've played with today.
Yeah, what I found really interesting is how much you get immersed in the game because of the moving around. So there will be hopefully a video later. I think we got it. At one point, there's a John Wick game, and at the beginning of the game, you've got snipers basically shooting at you. So you've got the laser scopes coming through, and there was James crawling across the floor as if his life depended on it.
It was that mental. I literally was just like pointing at me, and I'm just
stay in the corner.
I thought he was just going to hide behind this little cabinet for the whole of the game, but eventually he did get to the lift and did get an opportunity to get a gun and shoot a little bit back at them. I myself played a horror game which was called
Emily Wants to Play.
Emily Wants to Play, which is a very experienced game. It's very walking around. Not a lot happens at the straight away, and it just tries to scare you. Obviously, lesser men would have been scared, but being a seasoned professional, I didn't. But it was good. I do like a horror game, even if I don't get that scared. But I do like a horror game. It was very well put together. The movement was via teleportation, so you press the button, point it where you want to go, and it jumped you there. So you didn't get any motion sickness or anything like that. But it was a really, really good game, really immersive. James?
Yep. So as mentioned already, I went on the John Wick game, which was absolutely fantastic. First sort of real good play with the VR, so I'm quite new to it. And it was weird just being, put it on, and then you're there. And yeah, with the ducking around on the, getting away from those snipers was an experience and a half, let's put it that way.
And you didn't have any height-related issues, did you?
No height-related. As we know, I'm too tall for Bluetooth, so I can't use Bluetooth. But this was really good. It was the fact that, yeah, it doesn't discriminate like Bluetooth.
Okay, and then we put Mitchell on another game. What game did we put you on, Mitch?
I can't remember the name of it, but it was a zombie shooter game.
It was the Brookhaven Experiment.
Yes.
Is what it was called. Bit of a title to get out of your mouth.
Brookhaven Experiment. And I've played a couple of these zombie shooter games on Rift, and now I've played this one on Vive. It works really, really well.
Yeah.
It works so well that when you're immersed in shooting zombies, if one of your co-hosts decides to come touch you on the leg, you scream like a little girl. And I just want to say this, that the screaming was not because the game scared me, because some reprobate decided to make me jump. The game itself was lovely. It was nice to play. Shooting was accurate when I wasn't trying to look around with the torches and then shoot stuff. It works. One thing I just want to touch on with the difference between the Rift and Vive, I don't like the way the Rift feels on your face. It's got a very thick rubber strap that just goes around and sits there. It works well in terms of immersion, same as the Vive, but there's more design and it's more comfier to wear. I could do a lot more time playing the Vive with its design at the moment, with the cushion, the leather feel it's got. The Rift, 3 hours and I'm done, whereas I think the Vive would be a lot more.
Okay. We also got to remember that we do get a bit of VR fatigue.
Yes.
So one thing to mention, if you are getting into virtual reality, is take a lot of breaks, because VR can really strain your eyes. So 3 hours, probably the maximum that I would recommend you play, even if you get a PlayStation VR, which again is really good. Again, 3 hours is your limit. But we'll talk a little bit more about PlayStation VR in a minute. But anyway, there is also some rumours about the Vive, there's not?
There are these rumours, it's all speculation. Nothing has been confirmed by HTC. We've been trying all morning to get stuff off them. There's nothing yet. But we have found that there's possibly going to be a new controller design, a new base unit, which is supposed to be simpler, but just as effective. And it's going to be similar price to the Vive. Again, it's speculative rumours, places available online, so places like Engadget, TechRadar, everything like that, they've put some form of rumours together. Hopefully we'll have another chat with the HTC Vive guys later and see if we can get something for you all. If so, we'll do a blog post about that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what comes next for Vive. Hopefully a wireless variation of it would be quite nice.
You went really American in the middle of your talking then.
Yeah, I did.
We'll find out about you all. just thought I'd mention that. So now we're going to move on to our next section, which is a regular section that we do, which is called
What's filled your week?
So it's been quite a while since our last podcast, so we've had a lot of things to talk about. So let's start off with James. James, What have you been doing?
So, as we know, Google I/O has been and gone, and they announced the Android O beta version. You had the developer preview, which I did try, and you should have seen the video that I did, and that's on our YouTube channel. However, the actual full beta is now out, and I've been having that on my Pixel. I've had it for about a week now, so literally on the same day it was announced. And it is very, very good. It's very nice to use. There's actually, for a beta, there's not many bugs at all on it. Apart from the only one that I've come across is when I'm on the phone, it crashes.
It's quite a biggie.
That's quite a big problem.
Yeah. It's used the phone, but it just says phone stop working, and then you go down.
Okay, at least it doesn't disconnect you.
Yes,
That'd be even worse.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a strange mode. So
what's the number one thing that you think, you know what, they've nailed it? Number one thing I know.
Ooh, that's a good one. There's quite a few new things on there. So you've got the ability to customize shortcuts on the lock screen now,
Okay.
which is very nice. So you can change the app it opens. So I've got settings on the left. I've got the camera on the right. So I can do that. You've got a new theme. So if you know the clean Android version, your settings menu is dark theme with a white background. It's now a light theme. And same with the notification panel as well. That's all a light theme. However, the biggest and the best thing is on the Pixel launcher. When you get a notification come through, you get a nice little round dot. Just tell you on the particular app that you've got a notification. You open the app shortcuts, and it actually shows you notifications within there. And you can actually dismiss it from that.
Okay, that's nice.
For me, that is absolutely awesome. You don't have to
definitely
go down
speed
swipe
speed up getting rid of the junk email,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yes,
It's going to mean you
definitely.
get rid of that straight away.
So for me, that was with the Android O. Other things I've been up to, obviously watched a few films, but I think you're going to go through the big one that we've all seen recently. Started a new TV show called Blacklist Redemption, mainly because it's in UHD, and I've got UHD TV, just to see what it's like.
James, I have some important news to you. Number one,
Yeah.
I have already seen it as well.
What did you make of it?
I think it's good,
Yeah, it is very good.
but
But
viewers, get ready to see him cry. It
What?
hasn't been renewed for a second season. It is cancelled. Just thought I'd tell you.
Breaking news.
So you've just started watching a series that's been cancelled.
right. Does it close off well at the end?
All right,
Okay,
all right, not too bad.
I'll go with that.
I'll take you to watch a normal Blacklist.
No.
Oh, you need to watch a normal Blacklist.
Yeah,
Because for anybody who ever watches anything, James Spader is amazing. And he's really good in that. And the thing that Blacklist Redemption missed was not enough James Spader, because that man could talk about paint and it would be interesting. He's just a brilliant. If anybody's watched the second Avengers movie, he's the guy who plays Ultron. Not his best role because it's just a bit crazy, but you can tell by his voice and the way he can deliver a line. He's very William Shatner-esque. He delivers lines, and he makes that program. But carry on.
Yeah.
What else have you seen?
yeah. I've also watched Suicide Squad because I didn't go to see it when it was in the cinema. I went to see it as soon as it came out.
So like 6 months back.
Yeah, I didn't bother. I was and ahhing about it. I wasn't sure, but I didn't want to put my money down for it.
What
So
did you think of Suicide Squad?
I hated it.
Yeah, it wasn't brilliant. It was.
Yeah.
It suffered from a lack of decisions for
Yes.
me. It felt really scatty.
The thing was about it, when I was reading up about it, is when Deadpool came out, there was a lot of humour behind it. Things like that. They actually went back and reshot a lot of the things, spent a lot of money on it, and you can tell that it just doesn't flow right.
An interesting quote from Jared Leto was, he said something like, don't quote me on this, that he wished he would die because there was that much of him cut out that they would have to release it if he got killed.
I don't actually remember that. Yeah.
Because that man is mental. There was a story from on set where he sent them dead rats. Just because.
Perhaps they
why
had a
not?
pet snake.
Because we all know what happens when you play the Joker. It messes with your brain.
Yeah,
Um,
it does indeed.
I would have liked to see more Joker. I would have probably liked to have seen it shot slightly differently. It did a lot of flashbacks at the very beginning of the film.
Yeah.
I would like to have seen them in the middle of the film. I would like to see more of the characters interacting, and then maybe had a freeze frame, backstory, next one.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the way it was organised. And obviously they made it really obvious that one of the Suicide Squad wasn't going to survive.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious. Spoiler alert.
Probably should have said that.
And you've also been playing some stuff.
I
haven't you?
have, yeah. So I've been rather addicted to Crash Arena Turbo Stars, or the acronym CATS.
Okay, I've never heard of that game.
What? You've not come across that? Oh, it is absolutely
Explain.
brilliant. So it's a free game. You can download it on the Play Store, you can download it on the App Store. And basically all you do, you build yourself your own robot. We're just downloading it right now.
I'm not.
You come on.
Is it in-app purchases?
It is an app purchase, but you don't have to. because the amount of stuff that you can collect on there, it's done very quickly. So you do a few quick fights. So you've got your championships, you've got your quick fights. Do the quick fights.
So is it like a beat 'em up?
Yeah. But
Okay.
you don't do anything. So what happens is you build your robot.
Okay.
And then you've got your weapons. There you go. That's it right there. And then what you do is you have your weapon. You can have as many weapons on there for your bolts that you've got on your robot. And then you just send it into battle, and it's all automated. So you just watch it. If you win so many fights in the championship, you get to the next level. You unlock better weapons, better bodies, better health things as well. If you do the quick fights, after so many quick fights, if you win 3 in a row, you unlock a supply box to get you some more parts. And those supply boxes usually unlock after 2 hours. So not a long time, you can play other games in the meantime.
Okay.
And then you've got a better supply box which unlocks after 6 hours. But even better, you can actually unlock them even quicker by watching a few weapons.
What was the film with Hugh Jackman in where he built a robot and he fighted it?
Oh,
No,
that was Woodsman.
Real Steel.
that's it.
So it's a bit like that, really.
Yeah, a bit like that.
Does that make you Hugh Jackman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, say them all.
Okay.
Uninstall, yeah?
Okay, so Mitch, you've been doing a couple of things this week. So what have you been
So
doing?
this week I watched something again.
What
again?
did you watch?
This time it was some film. I think it's in Blockbuster, Guardians 2.
Blockbuster shut.
Blockbuster? What are you on about?
Yeah, Guardians 2. It's like quite big, I think. Or it was.
Tell me about it.
It's a film.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's obviously Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'm unsure.
Really?
I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. It was a phenomenal film to watch. Thoroughly enjoyed.
So what are you unsure about? Your name?
I don't know the direction they can go in. I don't know where they're going to go from here. Is it just going to be another, okay, let's go kill a bad guy, let's go save the world, great, job done, we're arseholes. Or are they going to do something completely different? I don't know what direction they can go in now.
I think a lot of it will depend on what happens in Infinity War.
I think they. Did you watch all 6 after the credit scenes?
Obviously. I have to.
Then there's loads of ways they can go. They opened
No,
up the
there's
universe.
not really a set path. It's a case of, obviously, the Avengers came along.
Yeah.
You knew there was going to be discord after Civil War. What route are they going to go down? They're all going to come back together. It's a set path that's going to work because it has to. Guardians doesn't have that. It's a case of, we're all still arseholes, so what we can do now. Cool. Let's go save the planet again. It's just going to be a repeating cycle. Yes, there's paths they can follow.
Yeah.
But I don't see longevity there. It's one of those that
I think Mitch is a fool. Guardians was
We'll
great.
emphasise the scream.
really enjoyed film. I
Guardians
enjoyed it.
actually, I think, was better than the original. I've now come to that
I disagree.
conclusion. I like the fact that the original was a shocker.
Yeah.
You went in not expecting it to be phenomenal, and it was.
Mhm.
But I do really think that Guardians 2 actually exceeded it. I thought that a lot of it was really good, particularly the after credit scenes. The after credit scenes set up multiple
They were
different
funny.
films,
Oh, yeah.
literally multiple films. You've got Sylvester Stallone playing his sort of thievy guy, for the name of the character. But there is a potential for a film with him in, with
Yeah.
that sort of a very Ocean's 11 in space would be really phenomenal. There was the Gold Woman. Somebody help me.
I can't remember her name, but I know what you mean.
She wants revenge, so there's another one for you. And there was Teenage Groot.
Oh,
Teenage Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Baby Groot at the beginning.
that opening scene was absolutely spot on.
That was well done.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you've got to once again for the second time take your hats off to Dave Bautista, because I thought
Yeah.
that
He was
Drax was phenomenal again.
Drax came alive
Yeah.
more this time.
Yeah.
Definitely. The only thing that disappointed me with Guardians 2 mainly was the soundtrack.
Really?
I
Wasn't as good.
prefer the original soundtrack to the second one.
Yeah, they did. They tried. They had to use different songs. They can use.
Of
the
course,
same ones.
yeah.
But
They missed out the best bit of the chain by Fleetwood Mac.
well, maybe that's ready for the next one.
He has a zoom.
If
Spoiler.
you're all listening, James Gunn, isn't it?
Yes.
James Gunn. If you're listening,
The second half of the chain is ludicrous.
and you've been playing some games as well, Mitch. I take
This
it.
is a VR game. Again, it's available for both the Rift and the Vive. And it's called I Expect You to Die. It's
And
That's
it's-
like your kind of game.
It is. It's not. It's surprising what it is actually. You're a secret agent, and you've basically been tasked with going to do something, whether it's blow up a bad guy's lab, whether it's fly a plane, but it goes wrong and you end up getting caught. The very first mission, without spoiling much of the game, is you're trapped in a car, you're in an aeroplane, and you've got to escape before gas fills the plane and kills you.
Did you panic?
No.
Did you scream?
No, I broke the window and killed myself 3 times.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So the title of the game was actually correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is frustratingly fun. At the first bit, when you're locked in the car, you look around, you pull the visor down, and a laser woman appears, and she's like, she's got to scan your eyeballs. So you can either get your eyeballs scanned, it goes, you're not recognised, you're going to die, and she lets some dynamite off, or you can avoid the laser, and then it goes, secondary measures activated, drop some dynamite anyway. Then you have to disarm the dynamite using clues around the car.
Yeah.
I blew myself a couple of times because I got the colours in the wrong order. And then it just goes from there, lots of different things. At one point, you get a poisonous scorpion released into the car. So you shoot it or you throw the champagne bottle at it. You've got a grenade launcher in the car. Yeah, there's a champagne bottle.
How big is this car?
Yeah, it's
seems to
massive,
have a
mate, I'll
lot
be
of
honest
stuff.
with you.
Have you got a stretch coming?
Well, the first thing, a car and a plane.
Yeah, it's a very, very big cargo plane.
Yeah.
It sounds a very weird game.
It is.
Yeah.
It's more the puzzle solving you have to
But
think.
I've got one important question for you. Is it better than PC Simulator?
No, nothing will be better than that phenomenal game. Nothing.
Okay, so I guess it's me now.
Yeah.
Me with multiple things as usual. So I've been playing a few games. So the games I've been playing this week are Injustice 2, which is a fighting game by NetherRealm Studio, the people that played Mortal Kombat. So if you've played any of these games, you know how in-depth it is. It's really good. The story mode is very follows on from the last one, very tossed and turny.
Yep.
There's a lot of options for you. So it'll say you'll have a cut sequence, and there'll be two of the protagonists on your side,
Yep.
and you'll get to choose which one's fighting.
Cool.
That story will then continue, and then you'll have to make a decision on who you want to side with at the end. That's no spoilers. What they have added this time is they've added some really cool features. They've added a gear system. So as you continue to play the game with their online modes and their offline modes, you will pick up various different armor pieces. So if you're Superman, you might pick up a new cape that makes you slightly stronger, or it might make when you're fighting people that have got no superpowers that you are stronger against them. You might pick up Batman, you might pick up some gloves, and they might be kryptonite gloves. So if you fight somebody from Kryptonia, such as Superman or his cousin Kara, you then get extra damage against them. So this gives you a little bit more of a tactical nature. So if you're playing online and somebody picks Superman, you might pick your second loadout, which is full of kryptonite stuff. If you're fighting somebody else, you'll pick a different set of gear. But it really makes it really interesting. It gives you that ability to just want to keep picking up gear, picking up loot, as a lot of games do now. And it just gives you a bit of longevity of that game. So really, really good. The second game I've been playing is a game called Farpoint, which is a VR game. And it comes with what's called the AIM controller. So it's a parallelogram-shaped item with a trigger. And it's got the normal analog stick on it. So it's one-to-one tracking. So when you're in there, although you're holding this I can't even say it now, I just said it once. Parallelogram, it actually feels like a rifle in your hand. It vibrates, so it gives you a
That's cool.
as you're fighting. And it's got one-to-one tracking, as I say, so you can move it around and it will track any enemies and you can fight. So if you want to look down the scope on this weapon, you literally have to bring it up to your eyes to see down the scope. Very similar to the way you were with John Wick, but it's one unit, so it feels like you've actually got a rifle in your hand. And what Sony are planning to do is they're planning to roll out support across a plethora of other games for this new controller. It is expensive. It came to, I think, £80, £90 for the game and the controller. That's the game and the controller.
Okay,
That's
all
not
right.
too bad.
So yeah, it's not too bad.
But it was really good. It's really impressive. They have got a co-op system as well, so you can play online with your friend who's got one, and you can both hide behind rocks, jump out, shoot. The good thing about this controller as well, and the way it tracks your head, is if I'm standing behind a rock, I can hold my thing out, I can lean out, and I can shoot, and I'll lean around this rock, or I can hold the gun away from me and blind fire around the rock,
That's quite cool.
and
That's a good
gonna track. The game itself is not bad. It's not bad. It feels very on rails. It's a very wide set of rails. You're always going in one set direction. There's not much I want to go over around this way, or I want to go this way, which I would like to see some different routes. Haven't seen any of those. The enemies are good. There's some really good like little spoilery things. So these spoilery things will run around and they will jump at your face. So Mitchell would cry. But
if I
it
could
was
see
really
them
good.
coming, I wouldn't. It's when I can't see them coming and then they're there.
Yeah, you'd definitely still cry. He would. So what else have I done? So I watched a few films. So there is a few films that I have watched. So the first one is Alien Covenant. It's a very
I've not heard
difficult
good
one.
things, but I've not seen
It wasn't brilliant. It's a nearly film. It feels like the whole of the film it nearly gets good, but never
Right.
quite gets there. So a lot of the film is you want to see the alien be a bit more. The thing with an alien film is less is more with an alien film.
Yeah.
An alien film, you don't want to see the alien very much. People can disagree with this. If you disagree, whack it in the comments. It's fine. But for me, an alien film is all about what you don't see. It's all about building up suspense. Oh, was that it? No, it's not it. Oh, was that it? No, it's not it. Then it kills you. That's what an alien film needs to be like, and this wasn't. It was far too much in your face. It didn't work. It also took the whole of Prometheus, which was a bad film anyway, and made Prometheus completely pointless because they really just threw it away. It didn't feel good at all. The other one that I saw was King Arthur, and actually it was quite good. Actually, it was quite good. David Beckham was in it for about a minute, and he was David Beckham, but with a bit of dirt on his face. but somehow they managed to change King Arthur into a gangster flick. It is pretty much a gangster flick. I know that sounds weird, and I know you don't think that will work, but it does. So it makes King Arthur. So the whole story of it, King Arthur's dad, his brother turns on him, turns over the castle, and King Arthur as a baby is sent down to Londinium.
So London.
London.
Yeah.
Wait, no, you're not allowed to say that. I'll copyright that.
And he's raised by prostitutes.
What?
So he becomes a gangster pimp. He becomes a gangster pimp, and he's basically running the streets until a point where his uncle, who killed his father, decides to try and get rid of all the babies that could be the rightful heir to the throne, and it all kicks off.
Are you sure you're not describing the Lion King there?
The
uncle that killed his father.
Yeah.
It could well be, but it actually works really well, and it's really shot really well. And they do a lot of story sequences where Arthur's telling a story of something, and it's very like, "Oh, wait a minute, man," and it's very gangstery. It's really, "Oh, wait a minute, man," about that. It's very gangstery, and it actually works really well. I don't do it justice, but feel free to watch that film. Next one I watched was a film called Snatched, I think it was called, with Goldie Hawn and Amy Schumer.
Oh, Amy Schumer. She's very hit and miss for me.
Yeah, I don't think it was very good.
No?
It's a story. It's a comedy. It's a comedy about two people. One's a daughter and a mother. And basically, they get kidnapped. And it's all about their experiences.
Nice.
It didn't do any of it really well.
Yeah.
It tried comedy. It didn't do the comedy very well. It tried a little smidgen of action. And it didn't do the action very well. And then you got to the turning point of the film, and you wanted the mother and the daughter to have a heartfelt, we've learned something, we've improved as a person, that sort of epiphany. And it didn't really come. It didn't really get there. It's a bit like in Avengers 2 where Tony Stark makes Ultron, and then the turning point of the film is he makes another robot. He doesn't learn anything. He doesn't learn his lesson. The whole point of a film of that nature is to have character development and have that turning point, and it just didn't work. So that's a miss for me. So
speaking of the miss,
I
just checked on IMDb, 3.5 out of 10.
I've watched worse, mate.
Really?
Did you watch Green Lantern?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
So for those who know me, I watch lots of films, good, bad, the ugly, and my reasoning for that is, if you don't watch bad films, you won't appreciate the good ones.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yes.
B movies, B horrors are always worth a watch. They're great. Mitch cries.
B movie, B horrors, I don't. I just find them horrible. The funny
Sharknado. He didn't
That was
sleep that week.
horrific.
Sharknado was awesome.
That was horrific.
It was-
It was Sharknado was
It was rubbish.
awesome. It was so bad it was good.
No, it was completely rubbish. No.
I loved it.
But that's everything for what's filled our week. So we're just going to our last section, which is called
The awards. What's top and what's not?
I love that one.
lovely segue. So as you all know, we've been at HTC today. So let's have a discussion. What's going to get the award for the best thing that we looked at today? We looked at two things. So let's see, Mitch. What do you
I'd
think?
like to put a third thing into it.
Go ahead.
Those USB sticks that we got are
Yeah.
amazing.
Can you show the viewers the
I
USB
can.
stick? For those who haven't seen our USB stick, because Mitchell just thinks that everybody's been with us all day.
So we want to thank Steve for these.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, they're actually quite cool.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. The best thing you've seen is a USB stick with thousands of pounds worth of kit. People have slaved over these.
So here's
devices.
lovely 2
we need to put something
gigabyte
behind it so you
USB
can
stick.
see what's in there.
Yeah, I've got another.
Oh yes, we'll back that.
So this USB stick lights up in a
Green.
in a lovely blue HTC green,
Yes,
and it's very beautiful.
but I think we will ignore that. For the,
Well,
In
don't-
seriousness now, I actually love the phone.
the phone is super.
Yeah, the phone is by far the highlight of the day. It looks nice. It was something I wasn't expecting. Based on what HTC normally release, it's the kind of mid to low range handsets. It's nothing that I personally would get behind because it's not something that I'd want.
Yeah.
I'd kind of feel, okay, so it's a mid range handset. I've got an iPhone 7, I've got S8, there's Pixels. There's lots out there that will interest me more.
Yeah.
But this is something else that I was not expecting. I was pleasantly surprised purely by the way it was designed. And I do like a good camera on a phone, and playing with the settings, as you'll see later on, it's very
Absolutely stunning.
wonderful.
Yeah,
James, is that the same opinion for you?
I would say so. Even though playing with the Vive today, that was a great experience. For me, it is the phone. I have to say that the phone.
And
is
I think
absolutely
we're
spot on.
actually, for the first time ever, we are in consensus. There is 3 of us, and we all say definitely the phone. One point to make with
Sorry,
the phone
Alice.
is the camera on it is fantastic. So the camera's fantastic, the design's fantastic, and it's innovative.
Yeah.
So we're really, this year, I think we're really spoiled for choice for phones. There is a lot of really good phones out this year. I actually can't think of a year where it's been a better lineup, a better flagship lineup. Every single flagship has really hit a point or another. This again is one of them. And I do say to you, go out, just go and try these things. Don't just settle for what you've had every year. Go and try these new features, because you need to really experience them to say, do you know what? Actually, this is a good idea. I like this.
It's all about making an informed decision at the end of the day.
Definitely.
If you don't try it, you'll never know.
And there's no such right answer as which is the best phone.
Yeah.
It's always what's the best phone for you. And if you're the sort of person who uses your camera a lot and you want quick access to things, then this might be just the one.
Yeah.
But go and have a play. Yeah.
Come on, give it a squeeze.
Give it a squeeze.
Big space.
When Mitchell says it, it comes off a bit seedy though.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Try it again.
Go on, give it a squeeze.
Definitely seedy. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for everybody for joining the stream, and that is it.
Thanks for listening to Techspert Talks. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Techspert Talks. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us comments. And we could be answering your tech questions next time.
Also, like our Facebook page.